Hey everybody, how we doing today? So, I am going to give you all of my Florida Keys fishing spots, all in one spot, right here. Now a little backstory, I started fishing the Florida Keys back in the late 90s, early 2000s. I started out mating on a light tackle charter boat / commercial fish operation, targeting yellowtail snapper, mutton snapper, kingfish, amberjack. It's also where I kind of learned the basics, cleaning a boat, the rigging part of it, all the prep, as well as it's all about the bait. Okay, that was thoroughly drilled in my head from very early on, how important bait was. It's almost impossible to have a bad day of fishing when you have a live well full of some nice frisky pilchards. However, it was also where I learned a very important lesson that I didn't know crap, okay? The first time I took the commercial boat out by myself, got out of the marina, headed out the channel, Kalki Channel, out to the open ocean, got out, looked around, and it was like, all of a sudden, just kind of like, holy crap, there is nothing out here except water. You just see water upon water, and that's about it. Now I had a logbook with all the numbers and stuff, so I mean I wasn't blind, but still that part of it when you just go out there and you just kind of look around and it's like, wow, hey, you just see water. There's no like road sign, oh here's the reef, or here's a wreck, or here's yellowtail snapper, or anything like that. It's just water out there. And that's very similar when you go out on the Gulf side for doing backcountry fishing. You go back out there and there's just 100 different little islands, all just made out of these mangrove trees, just sticking out there, and that's it. They all look the same. And you kind of realize like, wow, man, what am I doing out here? All right, and that's a very important part, and that's what I'm going to help you with today. Now, if you're the first time fisherman coming to fish the Florida Keys, or if you're like me, you're basically doing a lot of prospecting in a new area, trying to figure things out and kind of figure out your own fishing spots, okay, these will be a big help. These are top spot maps. I just got authorized to sell them in my All About the Bait store. I've been using these since the beginning I started fishing here. My early videos on the introductory fishing to the Florida Keys, on the off the water kind of preparation, using Google Earth, using these maps, Wind Finder, Tides for Fishing, the fishing reports, kind of using all those tools to try to kind of figure things out before you come so you're prepared when you get here. A lot of people don't realize the Keys run out into the ocean for about 120 miles. So if you think about it, you drive up, hit the beach, stop, and then point your car out into the middle of the ocean and drive for 120 miles. Okay, then stop and you're in Key West. That's how far Key West is out in the middle of the ocean. I'm in Marathon. I'm about 60 miles out in the middle of the ocean. That's a lot of ocean, okay? And to understand that all that is connected by US 1, by a whole bunch of different islands, okay? So you have 120 miles worth of fishing spots that you have to explore. And that's a good thing and a bad thing, okay? How do you figure it out, all right? And that's what I'm going to be showing you today. I'm going to break down these top spot maps and show you how to basically use them for your preparation. Now for this initial rollout, I'm going to be offering these for $19, free shipping. That is cheaper than anywhere, any tackle shop, Amazon, eBay, anywhere. Okay, I'm not sure what the map pricing is, so I'm sure they're going to make me change it. But for this initial rollout, 19 bucks, free shipping. I've got the 4 ones that apply down here, which is the lower keys, middle keys, upper keys, and the offshore. So check them out, www.allaboutthebait.com. But now let me do the overhead camera and kind of walk you through these maps and how to use them. All right, to start, we've got 4 different maps that cover the Florida Keys. Got the lower keys, middle keys, upper keys, and the South Florida offshore. On the map, there's these pink outlines that shows which map in the areas that it covers. On the website, I've got photographs of each 4 of these so you can determine which map is best for where you're going to be fishing. We'll use the chart for the Middle Keys as our example. One thing about these charts, they're waterproof, so that's very good for me since everything gets saturated in water, but they'll stand up to getting wet, so that's a good thing. So let's check it out. All right, taking a look at the actual map here, the general layout, these yellow areas are the actual land masses. Also, what's nice is they have the names of the individual keys. So when that local person says, oh, go to Johnson Key, you can actually find it. Otherwise, finding the names of keys are actually quite difficult down here. Other things you'll see, these cross-hatched in red areas here. Those are the recommended fishing spots. They all have a corresponding number that match up with a fishing index that'll tell you what is the species that area is recommended for. Also, you'll see these solid red lines running through here. Those are the safe navigation lines for boating. That's very important for the backcountry because there's a lot of flats, so it could be very hazardous trying to navigate if you don't know what you're doing. The other aspects that they've got is, might not be able to see it on here, but they've got all the wildlife management areas, the no-go zones, no fishing zones, and that sort of thing. You also see all the little numerical numbers throughout. Those give the average depths for those areas. Again, that'll be helpful for navigation. Also on the actual land masses, they give the services, parks, boat ramps, to show you different areas, all the different boat launch areas, public boat launches, where you can get gas, different marinas, so it's also helpful for that. But that's generally the layout there. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through what a lot of this means. So let's start with the most important part is these fishing spots. So you've got these cross-hatched red areas, hatch-marked red areas here with a corresponding number. So let me show you what those mean. All right, so once you found a cross-hatched area that you're interested in, you'll look at the number and then you can cross-reference it on this fishing index. What this does is that it'll give you the listing by the name of that area. It'll give you the identity of the species that it's recommended or is good in that area, as well as the time of month when that particular species is known for being in that area. So in this case, 64 is Bullfrog Banks. Look over here, Bullfrog Banks, and it's saying T's on April, May, June. T stands for tarpon, and B's over here means barracuda. So from April, May, June, that's a good tarpon spot. In June, July, it'd be good for barracuda. Okay, and that kind of narrows things down for you. So you have all the different areas listed here corresponding with that number, and then you can kind of find that species list there. Towards the bottom here, it gives you the index on what the abbreviations mean. So the B is for barracuda, BF for bonefish, you've got E for shark, and etc. And they also do it, there's an uppercase in that letter, means it's a good to outstanding. And then when it's lowercase means they're there, but it might not be the prime season. This will be very helpful for those people that are coming to the Keys for their vacation and they're wanting to know, I'm coming in June, what fish are going to be there? And then you can kind of go down this index and see what the recommended fish are going to be in that area, because a lot of our species are migratory. So that's the biggest help right there. The other informational pieces you're going to get, like I said, the services, parks, and boat ramps. That's very helpful for the boaters that want to get a public launch area, as well as marinas that allow you to launch, usually pay for use. Gives you the breakdowns of all the symbols and abbreviations there, all the channel markers and so forth, which are helpful for navigation. These maps are actually geared towards divers as well, because to find the different wrecks and so forth, even in the backcountry areas, the inshore areas, there's quite a few divers related spots, so they give you the coordinates there. I'll show you more in-depth information about that on the offshore version. Gives you the sanctuary zones, so that's very helpful to make sure you're not getting caught in the wrong areas. And then These are dual-sided maps, so you'll have the fishing indexes for both sides as well. The South Florida offshore map is really helpful for the blue water as well as the divers. This map kind of gives you an overview, which can be somewhat overload if you just do general web searching. What this allows you to do is, if you're going to be in Key West, okay, this will give you an outline of all the different wrecks, the reef areas, the rubble piles, all the popular dive spots, which are basically going to be structure, and that means good fishing areas, okay, as well as their name. And then you can turn over and go to the index, and that'll give you the name, the Lauren coordinates, GPS coordinates, the type of fishing, fish that are in those areas, as well as for the divers, the kind of the fathom drops, the depths that you're going to be doing. So that'll allow you to kind of plan your day. Why it's so helpful is, sometimes most people will say, oh, just search on the internet and you'll get all the wrecks. The problem with it is that there's thousands of them in the South Florida area there, and it's hard to decipher. If I'm just going to be in Key West, I don't need all the other ones. I just want to know these specific ones. So you can look on here and just say, oh, you got Rock Key, the Eastern Dry Rocks, Western Dry Rocks. You've got the Vandenberg Wreck, the Sambos, etc. And then you can go on the index and find out what depths they are and so forth, and be able to plan your day. Same with the fishermen. You're over here in the middle Sambos. You're not having very much luck. You want to try different areas. You can kind of go out here and you can say, oh, the Eastern Dry Rocks are just down the road a few miles, or hey, let's go try out the Vandenberg, or so forth. Let's go to Maryland Shoals. And it gives you a lot of options, and it's just quick and easy. And then you can look up those numbers off the internet and then have those in your GPS and then go directly to them. So very helpful for planning your time and kind of eliminating all that other stuff that you really don't need to know. Now, it's not only the offshore. Now, this is Marathon, and I tell people all the time that Marathon is just kind of out in no man's land. It doesn't have the island chains, the backcountry, like Big Pine and going down to Key West, or from Isla Mirada going up to Key Largo, where they have those backcountry islands. However, if you look on this map, what we do have is a lot of rubble piles. You have the 7-mile bridge here, and then when they're either doing construction on that bridge or deconstructing the old bridge, they would get that refuse and they would take it out and they would dump it. So you have all these little wrecks, submerged piles, these steel piles. You have these rock piles, sunken debris, and those are all structure, enough so that they're popular dive spots. But any structure out in this barren kind of wasteland is a fish attractant. Wherever there's structure, you're going to find the fish. Also, you have these underwater banks. They're basically just raised areas. They're not above water, but they're raised areas. Again, structure in a vast nothingness. And that's what this map will help you to find. Even though it looks like just water out there, there's a lot of stuff going on underneath if you know where to look. Now, there are two main resources for doing off-the-water research. Basically, you have good old Google Earth / Google Maps. Good resource there. Or you have these fishing maps. Those are also fairly popular as well. But both on their own are pretty good, but they also have their own flaws. Like on Google Earth, you have the ability to zoom in and get that overhead look, and zoom in on a flats. You see a channel running through it, and you're gonna know that's going to be a good fish highway, so that's a good spot. Or a key that has one side has a deeper cut on it. That's probably a good zone. That's going to be a fishy area there. The maps on themselves are basically pointing out historically this is a good bonefish spot, or this is a good permit spot, etc. But what they're lacking is, like on Google Earth, Google Maps is, for instance, on the maps here, it shows those rubble piles from the bridges. Okay, you can look on that open water, but all you see is just open water. It doesn't give you that underwater structure or those raised bay keys there where they're underwater, just kind of raised zones there that are fish attractants, but you don't see that on Google Earth. On these maps, the first thing to say, well, they're public maps. Anybody with $25 can go on and they're going to be in those same spots just fishing the crap out of it. Well, yeah, but what you have the ability to do if you're using it in conjunction with Google Earth is you can zoom in on a spot that this one says is a good permit spot. Okay, and you can look at it and kind of see the general layout, and you'll see, yeah, it's a nice flat area there. Oh, it's got this kind of nice turtle grass, but then there's a section that's got a lot of broken bottom, and there's some sand patches around it. Okay, and oh, there's this kind of a deeper trench or channel by it. Okay, and okay, that's the reason why that's a nice permit spot, is because it has those characteristics. I understand why permit are there. But you're thinking, well, everybody and their mother is probably hammering that area, so it's going to be blown out, so I don't want to fish that. It's kind of useless. However, if you take those characteristics and you just jump around and you start looking at other areas, and you see another area that has nice turtle grass, broken bottom, some sand potholes, and then there's a channel that runs fairly close to it for an escape route, and it's not on the map. You might say, ooh, that looks pretty good. I bet you that's going to be a nice permit area as well. It has those same characteristics, but it's not a public known numbers. So then you circle that area, and then when you're out there, you've got your own individual spot. So that's kind of how I use it. I use it in conjunction with Google Earth because a lot of these things that you find on here aren't pronounced on Google Earth. But if you find a certain area and you isolate it and really zoom in and really start to look, you get the gist of maybe why. Or when you get down here, you hit recon those areas physically and see that, oh, that's why this area is known, because it's got these things here. And then you have a more comfortable idea on other areas that you're just scooting over, that you're not really paying attention to. But now you know when you see these kind of areas, they're really fishy spots as well. So that's kind of how I work with them in regards to finding these hotspot known areas as hotspots, and then applying that to Google Earth to find other areas that aren't listed, and those become my hotspots. All right, so that's the hotspot maps, kind of how I utilize them for all my recon. Check them out, www.allaboutthebait.com. $19 free shipping, introductory offer. That's the cheapest you're going to find them anywhere. I did the research. Like I said, I don't know how long they're going to allow me to keep that price, but for now, get them while you can. I'm kind of bringing these out now because I've finished up all my recon for the middle keys. Basically from Cujo Key to Long Key, I've hit every single island, at least circumnavigated each one of them. Did a few doubles on some of them, found quite a few spots that are considered my fishing spots, but you'll find them here on the map. But now I think what I'm going to start doing is shifting over to those underwater spots, like I was talking around the 7 Mile Bridge, those rubble piles, wrecks, those steel piles, etc. I actually lost my Middle Keys map around Horseshoe Key, so you might find that out there with all my little check marks and stuff on it. I just fell out of my bucket when I was out there 2 trips ago. I just finished up my last key yesterday, but also I am getting in my components so that I could have both of my kayaks, the offshore one finished up, and then my inshore one back to the original pieces again. And then I'm going to be able to start going out and doing that offshore, reef, and then, like I said, those rubble piles inshore. So I'll be able to see those coming up. But anyways, yeah, definitely get those if you're coming to the Keys. They will help you out immensely. And that will be my new response for, hey, I'm coming down to certain key on certain month. Where should I go? What should I fish for? Bam! AllAboutTheBait.com, hotspot maps. All right. See you guys. Bye.